All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. This is Mark Soberman with NetPicks. Thanks for joining us today for this presentation, this live training webinar. And you should be able to see on your screen what we're going to be talking about today, which is the disciplined trader, road mapping your personal success. And obviously, everybody on the line listening, you guys are all course owners. You've all come through our education and are using our systems. And you probably know by now that we constantly at NetPicks talk about a few key things. We focus on the trading systems, of course, but then we tend to spend really more time talking to all of you about topics such as risk management, trade plan development, and trading psychology. To the point probably where you're like, gee, stop talking about it. But it's so important to your success as traders that we feel it's really our responsibility to help you with those different areas. And as much as I'd like to say that maybe I know a few things about topics like trade psychology, there's no question I'm not trained in the field. So the whole idea of having Norman Hallett join us today is to really have an expert talk to us about these topics and trade psychology, developing a trade plan, all the mental aspects that go into trading. Without question, trading can be the world's greatest profession, but at the same time, it's really, really hard on people mentally, psychologically. And Norm's really been able to kind of put together a way of looking at the markets, your responsibilities in the markets, and to kind of get our heads straight. So what I'm hoping over the next hour here or so, or a little bit less, is that he's going to really help us kind of get focused, get our heads straight, and give us some really great advice and some tips on what we can do on the trade psychology side of trading. Those of you who don't know Norm, I've known Norman for a long time. He's a friend of mine. We met years ago. We've both been in this part of the business for many, many years. We're probably some of the elder statesmen, maybe sadly, but we are at this point. But he's the CEO of Subconscious Training Corporation. And he works with people from a wide variety of areas, not just trading, but sports, psychology, business, and of course, trading. But I think what sets him apart from a lot of the people that I know in this field is that Norm actually has been a trader, had a CTA investment firm, was an introducing broker. I'm always a big believer in trying to learn from people who are doing similar things to us. And in the case of Norm, I mean, he gets it. He had a book. Some of you probably have it. Some of you probably downloaded it, called Mental Fitness for Traders. Downloaded over 100,000 times from around the world. So definitely an authority in the field, but more importantly, is able to relate to what we go through as traders. So with that said, a few more quick things. You guys can answer or ask, I should say, questions at any time. And towards the end, we'll try to have a little Q&A. But in addition, Norm's going to be asking you some questions, and I definitely highly encourage you to participate and to type in the replies that he's looking for, because we're doing this live. And it's going to enable Norm to really personalize this experience for all of you. You're going to get a lot out of this if you do that. So that's all I have to say. So without anything more to say, I'm going to turn it over to you. And here's Norm.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for that introduction. I'm going to try to live up to it and more, and increase the power of my reputation through this presentation. So I welcome everybody here. I know that midday is valuable real estate and time, so I promise you that we are not going to be wasting that today. What I'm about to share with you over the next 45, 60, 75 minutes, it takes, depends on how we move through it, is something that I know you've never seen before, and it's a process. This is going to be really kind of a workshop webinar where I'm going to ask you to write certain things down and go through a process with me. And in order to do that, you're going to need a couple of sheets of paper, at least 2 or 3, and just in case other ideas, kind of aha type ideas come on, you're going to need to write things down. Now, don't worry about the specifics of the process while we're doing it, other than to follow my direction. Because one of the last slides will be a summary of the steps that we're about to go through. Let me give you a little bit of background. I'm a huge believer in coaching, and I well, I don't know that I've ever asked Mark this question if he had a coach himself, but my guess is that he did. Most traders that especially really dig deep into it, that either make it a profession or teach trading, have been coached by a coach before, and sometimes several coaches. Now, for me, I currently have 3 coaches, and I'm about to hire a 4th one because I do believe that they save a lot of time for me. As far as I'm a guy that doesn't like to waste time. I'd rather pay somebody to shorten the time space because, as far as I'm concerned, and maybe it's from all my years of trading, time is my most important ally. So I want to first tell you where I got this process from. For the last 3 years, I've been coached by a guy named Dan Sullivan. Dan is a head of a place called Strategic Coach. Let's stick to this slide right here, and I'll describe this slide in a second. The Strategic Coach is really a coach for entrepreneurs. I pay him $20,000 a year to coach me, and it's not even a one-on-one coaching. It is to a certain degree, but I fly into Ontario, Canada, 4 times a year, and I sit in a room with 50 other guys who paid $20,000. You can do the math. He's made $1 million on us 50 guys every year for the last 3 years. And what he does is teach us processes by which we can work through our entrepreneurial problems. Now, I consider my trading, when I sit down as a trader with my charts, making my moves, I run it as a business, as you should. And I look at it as one of my entrepreneurial businesses. Another one is my training traders to be more disciplined, which is thedisciplinedtrader.com. That's another one of my businesses. Everything in total is my total entrepreneurial picture, and they're in different phases. Now, this Strategic Coach organization, in this particular class, has some very, very big names. I don't know if you've ever seen Dean Graziosi. Dean Graziosi is in my class. He's the guy that's in the real estate. You see him if you're in the LA area, then you know this guy. Constantly has infomercials. I want to kind of get this chat thing working. Let's see if we can get that done. Can anybody tell me if they've yes or no whether they know who Dean Graziosi is, just so that I can see this these chats come past me here. Let's see. Okay, I see the no's. I see no. I guess I see a no. Anybody? Is that Richard? Okay, so I can see this. I think I can just open up that chat for me a little bit. Okay. Well, Dean is a guy that he has a $100 million business. I only tell you this because I'm one of the smaller guys in the room, and there are some big minds. This process I'm going to give you is one of 8 processes that Strategic Coach teaches in order so that we as entrepreneurs can work through our challenges. Because in trading, it's all about being resilient. It's all about knowing that there are going to be challenges, whether your trading platform goes down. I pulled up my trading platform this morning, and all of a sudden I wasn't connected. I had a trade going on. All it would give me is the simulation mode. Now, there's always things that come up. There are always things in the market, of course, the news that comes out. You forget there's a report coming out. Whatever it is, there are challenges as far as trading is concerned. There are challenges as far as your packaging your trading as an entrepreneurial effort as you move forward. So what about a process for moving through challenges and achieving your ultimate goal? And really that's what we're going to do tonight. Now, or today. Dan Sullivan calls this the strategy circle, and it can be used in many different ways. We're going to use it today. The goal we're going to all set will be, you can set whatever you want, but I'm going to be talking about a goal is being the wise and disciplined trader and consistently making money as a trader. That's going to be our goal. We're going to work through that goal today in this 45 minutes or an hour that we have together. So that's what we're going to do. So I bought a little time so you can get a couple of pieces of paper together and a pen so that you can write all of this down your way. Now, again, this is a working webinar. I say 4 blank sheets, 2 or 3 is probably fine. There are no right and wrong answers here when we go through this, and it's unique to you. So don't worry about whatever other people might be writing. I want you to kind of dig into your own mind. And as you practice this process, you'll get better and better. Now, there are people in this process, in the class that I'm in, that I've been in there 3 years, some people have been in the same class for 15 or 16 years, and they take this exact process that I'm about to describe, and they use it with their kids. Their kids, I remember one guy raising his hand and say, I used this with my son recently at work. Dad, I want a car. Can I get a car? That was the goal. So they sat down and they did the process that we're going to do right now. And in the end, the son walked away with a actionable process, action items by which he can achieve his goal, left very happy. So this is what we're going to do here. You can use it in your personal life. You can use it as a trader, which we're going to take a general principle today about being a wise and consistent trader, consistently profitable trader. We're going to do that today, but you can use it for any part of your life once you get the hang of it. Okay, so let's go. Let's see that next slide, and we'll get into it. Okay, the first thing that you need to do in order to work through, to reach your goal is of course, state your goal. So in your own words, state the goal that you'd like to achieve here today, this afternoon. And we're going, at the end of this 45 minutes or now, we're going to have an action plan. You'll have your own action plan to achieve the goal. So write down something like to become the wise and disciplined and consistently successful trader. Okay, so let me know when I'm going to give you, I tried to sing a little bit for Mark earlier, and he promised that I wouldn't do that again. So I won't. Oh, I did say a yes with Dean Graziosi. RP had remembered. So take a second and write down that goal. Would somebody contribute what they wrote down here in the chat box just to, I think everybody can see this. If not, I'll go ahead and repeat it. But just somebody buck up here and state your goal. This is important. It's important to be very clear with your goal, okay, in the statement of your goal. Here's one right here: to be a successful swing trader. That's good. That's good enough to be a successful swing trader. Now, if you can define a little bit more what successful means, be a consistently profitable swing trader, maybe a little bit, because you may excuse yourself with a bunch of losses and sideways performance by saying you're on your way to being successful. So let's make it a little bit clearer. Being profitable, that making $1,000 a day trading, that's nice. That's nice, right? They execute all trades according to my trading plan. So whatever it is for you, write it down. Okay. The next step, and this is, these are you can't skip any of these steps, because I can't go in. We spend a whole day on this particular process that I'm cramming in for you in a short period of time. And we spent literally an hour on why it's important to put today's date and the target date. So after you state your goal, put today's date and the target date. And I will tell you why it's important to put today's date in, because your mind functions best when it has a starting point. If you don't put today's date in, you wind up thinking, well, this is good, I'll have it, and I'll put it to the side and I'll get to it. Once you write down today's date, you've thrown down the gauntlet, and you said, okay, today it starts, and then I name my target date. I want to get this accomplished by then. Now, for you that are talking about $1,000 a day trading, you may want to set the goal out about 90 days. That's a nice shot. By that time, you'll have your priorities set, you'll be in action, and you'll have experienced several days conforming to your new goal. So pick today's date, of course, and the target date. Okay. Now, the next and probably one of the most, this is the problem when I describe this process. I'm going to say that this is probably the most important step, but in the 7 or 8 steps that are here, they're all so important, but this one really is important. You need to write down, and you need to write down at least 3, and if you can get it to 5, that's great. Results of achieving your goal. I mean, what happens when you become a profitable swing trader? Or what happens when you achieve success in your trading career? And what does it mean? I see somebody talked about being independent and self-employed. This is a big one for traders. Now, as you know, I train traders in the mental and emotional issues to get them disciplined in their trading. And this is an area that is common to just about everybody. Independence, being your own, being your own boss, so to speak, not to take direction from anybody other than those gurus that you hire to do it for you. Here's somebody who wants to be a wise and disciplined trader, make $1,000 a day. What is the results of achieving? What happens when you achieve your goal of making $1,000 a day? You experience the independence. You start to build a legacy. You start to build wealth to take care of your family and maybe friends in need. These kinds of things, being financially secure, again, independence, doing this full time and being successful, showing up my older brother, whatever it is that is the results of achieving your goal. This is important because if you get this right, if you're honest with yourself in this step, it's going to result in the motivation to jump those hurdles and get past those resistances. This is what you're going to stick in front of you and say, hey, this is what I'm going for. This is why I'm going through this. Now, going through this is really not a big thing when we're talking about the process that we're going through here, because you're going to wind up being able to go through this process from A to Z in about 10 or 12 minutes and do it very effectively. We're going to take our time today because I want to describe to you the importance of each step, but let's now contribute to me in the chat box here some of the things that you're writing down. What are the results, and dig deep, of achieving your goal? Peace of mind is huge. Peace of mind, that's excellent. And even if I say to you, peace of mind, can you help me with what that means for you? And this is a tip that I'll give you when you go through any process like this, and the more specific that you can be, the better. And here's a technique that I learned as a salesperson to become one of the top salespeople in the business. When I've done everything from worked for, sold lessons for Arthur Murray's dance studio to running the largest option firm in the country. And here's my key. This is how I was able to be a great salesperson. And I don't want you to use this necessarily to sell anybody, except for yourself, except for dig deeper into yourself. It's called the reverse. It's called reversing. So when I ask you, can you give me the results of your goal, and you say to me, peace of mind, I take what you just said and turn it into a question. Peace of mind? Can you help me with that? So you need to write down what you want to write down, and then you need to look at that and ask it to yourself as a question. Some other reversing techniques are words like "and?" question mark, which means question mark. Can you help me with that? Question mark. All of these are little things that you can say to yourself to allow yourself to dig deeper and get more specific. So the person, Tom, if you wrote peace of mind, when you ask yourself the question, Tom, when I say peace of mind, can you help me with that? When you ask yourself that question, see, that's pretty good right there. Pay off your house. I see Stephen is on top of being more specific. So help me with that. On what when you said peace of mind, Tom, give me what you mean when you ask yourself the question, peace of mind. Can you help? Let me get deeper. Can you help me with that? Which was one of my greatest ones. Let's see if I'm looking for an answer from you. something that goes deeper, Tom, not having to rely on the government as they are broke. Okay, well, yeah, that's the kind of specificity I'm looking for, because apparently you have passion around it. This part right here, where you're listing the results of you achieving your goal, this stuff has to turn you on. This is the deep stuff, because as you move through hurdles, no matter what it is, you're going to need that motivation. So, okay, that's excellent. I think you got the idea here. Now, if you don't, I'm going to just give you a couple of, maybe one more minute here to stretch that to 4 or 5. And one thing I like to say when I'm stuck on number 4 and need that 5th, I say to myself, if I had to, gun to my head, if I had to put down a 5th and nobody was judging me, what would I put down? And I can always change it. But if I had to put down a 5th, what would it be? So, as you move through these exercises, and any exercises that you do, digging deep is important, and motivating yourself through reversing. Now I know that you're probably all going to try this on somebody, but when it's a great thing for your relationships too. When your husband or wife says to you, hate when you do that, and you may want to say, you hate when I do that, and just stop. Question. Well, when you do it all the time and it annoys me. When you say annoys me, can you help me with that? Well, I just feel that I think you're talking down to me, And you may even go deeper, talking down to you. Yeah, I don't like it when you look above me and you make me, you sound like you're holier than thou. I understand. I get it 100%. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. I will work on that. They get it out in a deep level, and you get to and you get to sit there and reverse. The great thing about reversing, they never see it coming. Whoever you're asking that question, they don't see that. You can even tell them what you're doing, what you're about to do, and somehow they don't see that coming. So try reversing. It works. Try it on yourself, but I give you that technique because it's helped me in other parts of my life, and especially when I get lazy or I want to just have a little fun with somebody that I'm talking to. I'll just kind of reverse, and watch really more truths come out, and somehow everybody feels better after they've been reversed, and you're going to feel better when you reverse yourself for its results of achieving goal. I told you you're not going to get this stuff anywhere else, but listen, trading is all about life. It's all about digging into yourself, and the idea of reversing is there's no better technique than that. And you want to do it softly and with feeling. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, and we'll continue on. So you've got today. You stated your goals. You got a start date and you got an end date, and then you listed all the things that the reasons that it's going to make it's going to be good for you. Now, again, the more clear you are in your goal, the better. We talked about that. There are no unreasonable goals, only unreasonable deadlines. That particular quote is from Dan Sullivan. There are no reasonable goals, only reasonable deadlines. So remember that deadline. I talked about, and most of the deadlines that I tend to set, they're kind of in the 60 to 90-day range, unless I really want to push myself, and then I do the 30-day. Because for me, and it probably is true for you, you wind up, whatever deadline you give to yourself, you don't really start putting a pedal to the metal until the last few days. So tight deadlines can be good. Don't be unreasonable, but look back on what you've achieved in a short period of time in the past and understand that you can do this too. And if you have important goals with important results of achieving the goals to drive you, you're going to be very amazed on how quickly you can actually become a very successful trader. You're going to put the BS aside, and you're going to concentrate on what gets you where you want to go. Okay? So, again, the results of achieving the goal, that area, embellishing on that, using your reverses and so on, this is your motivation to get it done. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, this is the human brain, when you state a goal, the first thing the human brain does is it tends to bring up, it starts to bring up the reasons why it can't happen. I don't have a big enough account. I want to make $1,000 a day, but how can I do that when I only have a $500 account or a $10,000 account? Now, you people are in the university. You probably have Some of you have nice size accounts. Others are bucking up and saying, "Hey, I'll pay up for the education. I'm willing to pay one of the best in Mark, and he has tremendous guests on like me, and so you paid up, and maybe your account isn't that big. So you may have that. Can I really do $1,000 a month? Any obstacle that pops up, you stated your goal. So now I want you to look at your goal, read your goal, and then as the obstacles pop up, what is going to get in your way of achieving your goals? I want you to write those down here. And the more obstacles you can come up with, the better. In fact, when I do something that's really, really important with this strategy circle, what I do is I'll put down the initial 4 or 5 that pop up, but then I'll put this exercise aside. We're not going to do that right now because I want to take you through the exercise, and you can redo this exercise on your own. But I'll put it aside, and as I'm sleeping that night, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think of another reason. I'll say to myself before I go to sleep, if there are any other obstacles for me achieving $1,000 a day in trading, let them pop up into my mind. Sometimes you can give yourself little suggestions. Believe me, they can work. It gives your subconscious mind something to do as you're sleeping. And as if it's not doing anything, it's doing stuff. And we'll get into that in another lecture. But the idea is that if you give yourself that assignment, sometimes they'll pop up. So oftentimes they do. About 50% of the time I get ideas, and I always have a pad and pencil by my bed, and I write it down what that is. And so I like to stretch it to at least 7 or 8 obstacles in an important situation. And this is a big goal we're talking about, and to view to because some of these goals can be chopped into smaller goals, especially when we get to the task list. And you can run this exercise through those smaller goals. And as you achieve those, it will, by definition, achieve the big goal. So any way you do it, no longer have to work. All right, let's talk about some of the obstacles now. What obstacles have popped into your mind now that you've stated your goal? Fear of loss. That's an excellent one. I'm going to write some of these down because I want to address a couple of them at least. All right, fear of loss. What else is stopping you from achieving $1,000 or being financially independent? That kind of thing. Lack of discipline. Mark, you said this was a good crowd. You're right, because I've got to milk the self problems out. Listen, I always say that my team hates this when I say that we sell a product in the Discipline Trader Mastery Kit that people need but don't necessarily want, because people don't like to look into themselves. In a university setting like this, I think you're going to get more people being a little bit more honest with where they are and what they need. So I really applaud you saying that. Not just good enough. There you go. There's a self-image, and boy, am I glad you brought that up. Fraudulent brokers, throw that in there. Anything that's self-image and self-confidence. One of the things that, and I'll give you another tip from. I pay the guy $20,000. I might as well be able to lay some of it on you. You always start your day with the things that went right in your trade. I start my journaling in my trade journaling with things that went right in my day before that, things that went right yesterday. So I always start with, he calls it positive focus. Start by listing the things that went right on the previous day. Even if it's I just showed up for trading and you did nothing right the previous day. I played the game. I was there to win. Didn't happen, but I was there to win. That's important for the self-image, because it's important that the worth, you say I'm not worthwhile. It's important that you do believe that you are, because this is a very deep emotion. It's a base where a lot of other things stem from. So you need to get that one down. And the truth is that those that feel like that, you're doing that to yourself. I challenge you to ask people close to you what your greatest strength is, what they value most about your friendship. and you'll be surprised all the good things that people think about you, and that your capabilities are something that you tend not to want to recognize in yourself, because you feel burdened with responsibility, and you're constantly reviewing all the things that you haven't done and have to get done, and therefore that's in the foreground of your mind instead of what should be, and that's all the good things you accomplished on the way to the final goal. So always make sure that in the beginning of the day that you list the things that went well for you in the previous day, whatever exercise you were in this case, as far as trading is concerned. I'm looking here at some of the obstacles. Let's get some more of those obstacles out. About worth not being good. A lot of negativity from childhood. Ease of mind in retirement. Additional retirement income. Okay, what are the, again, let's hear a few more of these obstacles. Contribute a little bit here so that we can move on. I want to hear some of these obstacles. What's stopping you from getting what you want? What is stopping you from getting what you want? Okay, I'm looking here. Peace of mind. Fraudulent brokers, confidence in the trading system and people behind them. That's a good one. Chasing trades, building a college fund, investing in college for the future, being self-sufficient. Okay, these are more the goals, but let's hear the challenges. Let's hear the challenges. What's stopping you from achieving your goal? Just give me one more and we'll move on, and I'll be satisfied. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water while you do that. I think I just saw somebody go on. Somehow I'm not proficient. Here's something about a trading plan. Be consistently profitable. Again, that's more of a goal. Additional retirement income. Negative self-worth. I hope I didn't shut off these questions for myself. Anyway, the obstacles are of
Hey, Norm.
Yes.
Yeah, there's quite a few there in the question box towards the bottom. I'll just kind of read a few off. I'm not sure why you're not seeing. Lack of discipline, fear of losing money, getting interrupted, interested in too many different things, all take time, lack of patience to let the trade finish, time, money, home life, health, friendship. So I'm not sure if you, in the question box, if you...
yeah, I see. I'm only seeing one line at a time, I guess, is what I'm not...
make the box. Yeah, you can resize that box. You probably have to drag it a little bit to kind of pop it open a bit.
I've tried a couple of ways to drag. Let's see if...
There's also, like, in the top right corner next to the X, don't close it.
Oh, I see. I just made it an independent box, which really helps. Okay, there we go. Oh, here's my people.
There you go.
All right. A lot of negativity from childhood about not being good enough. I see. Okay, so we've got some of those obstacles, and because now we're really going to get into the solution part. Again, milk these obstacles. That's probably one of the most. Again, I'm saying it again. This is an important part, and again, many times for something very important, I'll do this up front and then leave and go on. Let's go to the next slide. Now, once you've stated your goals, you've talked about the reason why it's important to you. And now we're talking about activity. Now, Dan Sullivan says all those things, and this is the brilliance of Sullivan, all those things that seem to oppose our goals are actually the raw material for achieving them. So all of the things that you've listed, all the obstacles, really within the definition of the problem is the solution. So let's go on. Spend time, again, with listing objections, even to the point of waiting a day or two to go back to it. So as you work with this, it becomes easier and easier. Okay, now hopefully you've, and I didn't say this specifically, but you took a piece of paper, you drew a line down the center. You don't have to do that. You can do that the next time. That's the way I like to do it, just like you see it right here. And so you have an obstacle on the left-hand side. And let's say that obstacle was just not good enough. Well, what's the strategy for overcoming that obstacle? What we've done is we're going to break down each one of these obstacles, and we're going to now come up with a solution. Well, it's actually a fairly simple one. I mean, we know that in this case, not feeling your own worth as you should, and that you're not good enough, can be. Somebody mentioned childhood, etc. Whatever the case, the subconscious mind is holding that thought as true for you. It's a dominant subconscious thought. Every time you come back and think about that thought, it's creating another neural pathway emphasizing that thought. So there are 2 or 3 solutions to this. You could go to a psychologist and bring up all the pain and shed tears and dissipate the feeling, and that may take a couple of years to do. The quicker and I believe more effective way of doing it is not to worry about the dominant neural pathways that exist, but to build new neural pathways and make them dominant. If you create a number of neural pathways, it becomes a neural net and becomes your dominant behavior. So if we can create a dominant behavior for you by having you relax and then contribute, and we use it in audio, I can say tape recorder, but you can record in anything pretty much on your computer. You have a recording device. Talk softly to yourself and say, I'm a wise and disciplined trader. I'm a worthwhile person. I do the things that I need to do to make myself the success that I'm capable of being. I'm loved by people that come in contact with me because I give love. Whatever it is that are empowering statements for you. Of course, we have them made for traders, but I'm not selling anything to you today. And so I want you to know that you can do this on your own. On the other hand, why do it on your own if you can buy it from somebody? But the idea is that if you have the problem of feeling not good enough, then you need to relax yourself. And that all you have to do is breathe in and out 3 or 4 times with your eyes closed, relaxing, breathing slowly to the count of 5, breathing out slowly to the count of 5, and then playing this recording to yourself, or even saying it to yourself. As you drop into an alpha brainwave state, which is done by the breathing exercise, then that is the state at which your subconscious mind can receive information without being edited. See, it's your conscious mind that defends your subconscious mind. So when you see a trade that you want to take, and it looks like a pretty good setup, a really nice setup, and you're having hesitations, it's probably because your conscious mind is checking with your subconscious mind to see if this is okay and consistent with your beliefs, and it's coming across the dominant pattern that's saying that I'm not worthwhile, that I'm not good enough really to make money, and I'll only lose like I always do. So even with this good setup, I really should wait to see more. So your conscious mind is making a decision based on what your subconscious mind believes is true for you. So you need to be proactive in creating a new set of neural pathways, which will result in a new dominant neural net. Okay, the other will still exist, but as you now continue to emphasize all the behavior that you want, I am a worthwhile person. I'm a worthwhile person. I'm a deserving person. I give love and I get love in return. I do good things, and therefore good things will happen to me. Whatever it is, I'm a loving father, and I see good for my children. As you put out the positives, you're going to get the positive back, and you state these kinds of things in your. Now, we don't quite get that. That's not the kind of session that you may get when you're with our course as a disciplined trader. We work on specific things like we do have something on self-belief, but and does have certain suggestions. But I'm trying to give you the strategy, the process to turn around many of these mental and emotional issues. You can do it by building neural pathways. So as you drop down into the alpha brainwave state when you take after taking those deep breaths, you now can bypass the conscious mind and the directions that you're giving to yourself by listening to those recordings or saying it to yourself, go directly to your subconscious mind, building the neural pathways with that message. And if you just do that exercise every day for a couple of weeks, even sometimes just a week, you'll build enough neural pathways to become your dominant neural net, and all of a sudden when that trade comes, you'll be taking it because you are worthwhile, and you have done your homework, and you do have a great trading plan, and you are deserving, and you are a loving person. Let's get it done. All that decision is made in a split second by your conscious mind, which checks with your conscious mind, now sees you more on solid ground about your ability to be successful and achieve, and boom, you make the trade like you should. You follow your trading plan. So in trading, there's only two things. There is building a responsible trading plan with the proper risk and money management, which is really why I like. I like Mark personally. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows that, but I love the fact that he concentrates on the money and risk management, because really that's all there is. And if you think about it, this is what maintains your psyche. If you can keep your losses small and learn to take them quickly, as opposed to being a victim of these blowout trades which punch you in the gut and challenge your inner feeling of yourself. All of a sudden, the feeling of not good enough gets to play its game because you did it again. You didn't control your risk, and somehow you're giving more emphasis to that neural pathway than you should. So the more you take quick losses, and the more you exercise your proper risk management, the more you see that losses. I love to take small losses because it's getting me out of harm's way when I'm wrong. And you're going to learn to love, if you're not don't already, love to take small losses, because you know that what you're doing is saving your time and effort for the big wins. So, okay, back to the exercise. You got the obstacle of looking, not just feeling good enough. So your strategy is find a standard recording to train my mind to build my self-confidence and self-worth. Or that strategy may be, Google the process by which to create my own little self-hypnosis session to myself and get this done. Because this is not hocus pocus. Working with the mind is now scientific truths. Thoughts are things. Thoughts are energy. Life is all about energy, and you need to start controlling your thoughts. And the way you do that is to be proactive about it. Okay, and I just gave you one technique to do that. So that would be your strategy, Stephen, for the lack of I forgot who. I don't see the names on the side, but whatever the case, if you wrote not just good enough. Let's take another one. Let's see, getting interrupted. So that can get in the way. So what's the strategy for not getting interrupted? Well, I'll tell you my strategy. When I walk through my door in my office, and it's just the back room of my house, the fourth bedroom, everybody knows. My wife knows. My dogs know. Everybody knows that nobody comes in unless they knock, even my wife, during that period of time. And generally, because I say I can't talk to you now, they don't even knock anymore. Because you're there to trade, and to trade at your utmost effectiveness, you've got to be focused, and to be focused, you can't be interrupted. You've got to set it up so you're not interrupted. You need to have a talk with those people interrupting you, whether it's and if it's not a talk, if it's your Skype or it's your email being interrupted, you got to shut that stuff off. Sometimes I think for those that's very hard to shut that stuff off, give yourself a 2-hour period of trading. And if that's too long, make it 1 hour. 1 hour where you can do it. And you know what you're going to see? Life goes on. Nothing happened. The world didn't self-destruct. I used to think when I went on vacation and I didn't check my email for a couple of days that oh my God, I'm going to miss all these opportunities in my business. I'm going to miss a bunch of trades that I'm whatever it is I'm going to miss. You don't miss anything, because all the important stuff they'll come back and get repeated. And in fact, if you make yourself too available, sometimes that's not good either. You got to have time for yourself. You're there to trade. Trading is not difficult. It really is kind of easy if you can develop the focus so that you can follow your rules. So you need to have a strategy. You need to talk to anybody that's interrupting you, if they're human beings, and say, hey, look, I'm serious about my trading. One of the reasons most traders fail is they don't commit to their privacy when they're trading so that they can focus. I'm good at what I do. I just need you to help me by not interrupting me. And if you're a self-interrupter and what you're talking about are your emails and so on, so there's your strat. Then you got to just write that down. Start by trading 1 hour with no interruption, shutting off my email, whatever. That's your strategy. So each obstacle, remember, within the obstacles are the raw materials for the solution. So that's one solution. Let's take a look at fraudulent brokers. Well, that's a matter of due diligence. I generally don't do anything unless I know somebody that's had experience doing it that I trust and they've been successful with it. That's my starting point. And then I'll do my due diligence. I have I subscribe to a service that allows me to put somebody's name and address, or as much as I know about them. It's like a detective service for like $30 a month, I think I pay. And before I do anything with anybody, I throw their name in there. You'd be surprised, at the felons that are out there doing business under different names. And experience, there's nothing that replaces experience, but even smart people can be fooled. So don't get too neurotic about it. I believe that we're all in the right place at the right time. And if generally things like fraud comes to you, there's something that you're probably not exercising in other parts of your life that you're getting attracted to that. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do your homework and do your checking. You should. And I told you a service that I use to check fraudulent associations and partners whenever I bring up a new affiliate that promotes my product. I want to know that it's being represented by somebody that I can trust. So I don't tell them. It's all public record. I'm not delving into anything, but their name gets run through my Mark. Incidentally, you passed with flying colors. So here I continue to work with you on this thing, but I put you through it. You didn't know it, and I hope you don't mind. I hope you put me through it on your own. All right, lack of discipline. Well, the lack of discipline may have a number of strategies. If obstacle, your strategy is lack of discipline, you need to listen, we have the best training course there is. It's really the only training course like it that covers from A to Z. If you have a solid trading plan, if you know how to put a solid trading plan together, you have the proper risk and money management, you get that from Mark, that's half the battle. The rest is control. The rest is discipline. Okay? And the reason I mentioned it in two parts is because if you don't have the first part, then you're not going to be able to get discipline, because the first step as for a trader in trading discipline is trust in your trading plan. And if you don't know the elements by which your trading plan was conceived, and you don't understand the whys and the wherefores of why a particular strategy is being used, then when it loses 2 or 3 times in a row, you're going to have self-doubt. I don't have doubts about my trading plan, and I'm willing to take 4 or 5 losses in a row and be very happy about it because my losses are short. To me, it means that a winning trade is overdue. I've learned to frame everything in a very positive way, and you should do. Look, there are going to be obstacles, and within the obstacle is the raw material for the solution. So state the solution, make it a strategy, and get going on the solution. Do not linger on the obstacles. They are just there they're there to stop, to delay you from your goal. It's your normal mental process to protect. It's from the reptilian mind. So we've advanced. We've got a frontal lobe now. So you need to allow those root fears to come up in your obstacles, and then use your thinking process and this process that I'm giving you to work through it. Okay, so let's go through one more. I think you get the idea of taking each obstacle and making somebody who chases trades. That's a matter of patience. You need to train on patience. So it may just be, buy the Discipline Trader Mastery Kit, and they've got something specific on patience, and I'm going to do that. It's going to be worth the $1,200, whatever it is your solution is. Or, I'm going to create statements, and that's a mental thing. The reason you chase trades is because you were unwilling to get in when you either weren't in a position or you were unwilling to get in when the trade should have been taken. And not being in position means that something happened. Today I missed a soybean trade. And the reason I missed a soybean trade is I put on the trade and I realized I put it in simulation because somehow the hookup to where I was trading through RJ O'Brien was not up. And I said to myself, oh my gosh. And by the time I did the technicals to get it set up again, then the trade was three cents in my direction. And I, believe me, the thought came in my mind, hey, you still got, 70% of this, but the next thing of the potential, but you've also added 30% to the risk. Not good. I pass on it because, if you trade long enough, there'll always be another trade. And yes, that was a big winner. And what that meant, I didn't feel bad about it. I said, hey, my systems works. I'll catch it the next time. Things happen, and I'm over. It's behind me. Let's go forward. So you don't want to chase trades. You need to have confidence in your process to chase trades, and you need to be strong enough with your system to take it immediately. So whatever the strategy is for you, that's going to be helpful there. A lot of negativity from childhood. I'm looking here. Action is the antidote. Author unknown. Action is the antidote to fear. Very good. Author unknown. I think I said that. Let's just put my name on there. Norman Hallett. 2 L's and 2 T's. Additional retirement income and ease of mind in retirement. Okay. I think that's more of I'm reading some of these. Lack of discipline. Okay, you get the idea here. So now you've gotten the obstacles down. Now we've mapped the strategy for each one of the processes. Are there any obstacles? Let's do this. Are there any obstacles that you haven't been able to name a strategy for? And maybe I can help one person with that. So is there, go ahead and post, somebody, if you would post something that you weren't able to figure out a strategy for, and maybe I can help you with that. Let's see. Okay, I see a yes. I don't know if I'm... A lot of negativities. Has anybody written anything? Mark, have you seen anything new come up? Anybody on any obstacles that you haven't been able to write a strategy for? I saw something popped in there.
Steve says, need money now.
Okay. Now that's a, when you say, and I hate to reverse you, but when you say need money now, can you help me with that? I mean, everybody needs money now. Why do you need money now? What's behind that concern?
Job loss.
Job loss. Yep. Okay. And so I get this right. You have X amount of dollars, and you need to make trading work in order to live, to replace that income, and you're not there yet, and so you're scared. Is that really where that's at?
Yeah, he said yes, for sure.
Okay. I have a suggestion for you, and I'm not sure you're going to like it, but I think it'll work for you. I know that for me, when I was getting tired I managed money. I was a CTA and ran millions of dollars and that's a lot of pressure. When markets go up, you're a hero, but during the 2 or 3 months where you have a drawdown, you're a bum. It's a very hard place to be for a money manager, and you actually take other people's money more importantly than your own. And I thought to myself, rather than making me responsible for others, I need something else to transition to. And at that time, I wanted something in the internet realm. So I came out with some softwares. My wife's a hypnotist, and we started with a couple of softwares for golfers, and I put it up on a site. And after about 4 months I became an internet marketing junkie, and for the $69 product, all of a sudden my wife and I were taking in $5,000 a month, and that was pretty good money in 1999 at that point in our lives. And so I said to myself, all right, if I take the time I'm taking with managing people's money, and now I apply that time to the new endeavor of developing a business online. Look at all of them. I already established a process, which is my process of selling the golf software online, and so I had something that I knew if I used the same process and just made it bigger, I could make 10 or $15,000 a month, and it wound up to be about $22,000 a month within about 6 months of letting go of the commodity management firm, selling it to somebody else, because it's all about where you focus. Now, I tell you that story because you're putting too much pressure on yourself. It's very hard to succeed. I'm not saying you can't. You certainly can succeed if your only income stream is your trading and you need to make money. Once you throw need in, though, the pressure is very strong. What I would advise you to do is while you're developing your trading, and I would narrow my trading time to maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, if that's possible, or maybe even less. Look for a system, a process that makes money in a very short period of time there, and maybe you'll need an hour on each end between journaling and so on. So you need to spend that 2 or 3 hours a day in the trading mode, because that is your future. But I want you to develop something on the side, whether it's mowing lawns or becoming a consultant in your past industry. You'd be surprised how much your knowledge of what you knew before is important to other people. There are places. There's a place called Elance. A lot of us in the internet, and I know you may not be an internet guy, but Elance is a place where people pick up jobs, whether it's copywriting, helping somebody with a business plan, whatever business you're in. Sometimes there's a lot of sites like Elance where you can pick up contract work in your area of expertise. Takes you nothing to do, and people pay you $200 here, $500 here, $1,000 there for your expertise. So I'm saying, whatever it is for you, you need to build something that you can bring in some money right now. You need to take the pressure off your trading, and by doing that, you're going to be able to stay more disciplined in your trading. You'll be more consistent and in a faster time frame. So I hope you didn't hate that answer. And I'm not saying back up. You can have just as much intensity as you want, as you have. But I'm going to tell you something, that your intensity can kind of wane when the worry is there. That I hope I can make it as a trader. Because when you start to say, I hope I can make it as a trader, you're building neural pathways of doubt. Self-talk is very important. So if you can take the pressure off your trading, and develop something, even if it's just an extra $1,000 or $2,000 on the side, you're going to wind up seeing that you can do anything that you want, and it's going, and that you're buying yourself enough time to take the pressure off trading so that your account gets big enough so that it can be a living for you. And you'll be surprised how quickly it moves. You got to take the pressure off yourself. That's the way I look at it. So, okay. So what we've done is we've stated our goal. We've named a start date and a finish date, and then we've listed all the things that would happen, all the great results that will happen when our goal is achieved. We want to stand out there and look at those great results, and then look back on how far we've come toward those, as opposed to standing where we are and looking out at what we want and seeing it as a distance. I'd rather you get the feeling and stand in that space of achievement and look back and just see what you need to get there. It's a much stronger positioning. Okay, once you do that, it's time to create the obstacles and milk that. You want to let it go for a night if you have to, but you want to get out 4 or 5. And if you can't think of an obstacle, reverse yourself when I say this, because within an obstacle, there could be 3 or 4 other minor obstacles. So go ahead and list those as separate obstacles. Then turn those obstacles, use the raw material that's within each one of those obstacles. And it may not be so apparent to you right now what those obstacles are, what the raw material is. But as you think about it, as you start to say, if I had to do something about it, if I had to create something proactive, what would it be? Start writing. You'll get a strategy for every problem. And if you don't, then there are people like Mark you can ask, especially if it's trading related. And people in other parts of your life, believe me, people love to help people when given a chance. And sometimes an obstacle because it's so huge in front of you, you can't see the line. Sometimes it's good to ask somebody, but you can do most of them, if not all of them yourself, the majority of the time. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And this next slide is really our last slide for the strategy. What you want for this process, what you want to do is take all the strategies that you listed in the last frame. Make sure I have a strong trading plan, work with Mark. And then see the who on there? You want to put Mark's name. If you don't have a strong risk, if you're not satisfied with your risk management strategies, then you say, then it may be, the strategy may be strengthen and secure my risk management strategies. Who? Me, Mark. And the deadline for that is something within the grand deadline, but maybe you can do that probably in a week. So next week would be the deadline. The first milestone would be contact Mark and get his assistance on how I can, help myself with my particular strategy. Milestone 2. Now, these milestones could be date milestones, or they can be action milestones. In milestone 2, incorporate Mark's suggestions into my position. I like to make them both. If I have a deadline of next week, then by Tuesday I want Mark's feedback. By Thursday I want to put it in there. And as I'm doing that, I realize, boy, my deadline, I really kind of need 2 weeks for that. So maybe I'll go back and change that deadline to 2 weeks as I'm working this out. Third milestone is test my new parameters in real time and see it work for me. And milestone 4 is implement the new system. So that's how you lay this out. Who's going to be involved? You want to delegate as much as you can, if you can, because again, people like to help, and some people you've paid to help, and some, you'd be surprised at people who buy. I do it myself, so I'm not surprised. But we as humans, we tend to buy things, and we don't take advantage of what we bought. Somehow we think it's there for us, and we don't utilize it. We have right now for this week, every quarter we do this, we have a set of experts answering questions on trading plans, journaling, risk management. It's all on a special forum that people paid for, or it was as a bonus and part of a course. And I've got thousands of people in the course. I don't think there's 40 people asking questions. It's amazing. And we only run it once a week. I've got to milk people to listen. Mark is on your side. If you ever get next to me, I'll be on your side. But Mark is one of those guys that, listen, it helps us. It's a business thing. We help you. You succeed. You tell your story. We show that story to other people. They buy more of our stuff. Okay? So we have an investment in seeing you achieve. So if you've got risk management issues, boom. Let's you're taking too big of losses. Let's put that in as a strategy and let Mark and whoever it is that you respect help you. Okay, another strategy we talked about. Let's see. Let's see what I'm trying to think of the strategies that we talked about before. Helping with your focus. All right. So the strategy is design my own process for being focused. That may be for the person who wanted privacy, the interruptions and so on. That's something. Let's talk about focus. You want to be more focused with your trading. That was one of your strategies, and that's one of your wants. And your strategy was, hey, take a course on focus and train my subconscious mind. So who would that be? Well, who would that be? Maybe me, if you would put me, being you, if you want to do it on your own, or me/Norman, and get his course. And, milestone 1, get the course. Milestone 2, take the course. Milestone 3, practice that focus and seeing it work for myself. Or if you wanted to do yourself, milestone, you set a deadline. Milestone 1, Google, how to create my own short self-hypnosis sessions to help myself in focus. Create the milestone 2, create the self-hypnosis session, and milestone 3, begin listening to it every day for the twice a day for the next 2 weeks. Milestone 4, see it, realize the effects in my trading and proclaim myself focused. Milestone 5, continue those sessions so I don't get unfocused. So this is what you want to do. Listen, every obstacle is just you. It's you standing in your own way. Now it's time. So we took those obstacles. We've made some strategies. You list those strategies. Get the help that you can. This is why I have coaches. When I do a who on these things, it's filled with all the guys coaching me. And and I set a time, we discuss it, and the problem is pretty much solved. And sometimes they have better solutions than I have had in my milestones. So, whatever who is for you, try to delegate. And, sometimes only you can do it. So it's a bunch of me's under who's. So you want to work out your strategy. You want to get your strategy, set your deadlines within the total length of deadline that we set up in step 2 a few pages back, and then create your milestones. Okay, we've been at this for an hour. I hope, did everybody enjoy this? I got one more thing I want to give you, but I just want to see if you enjoyed this. I love giving this because I know the effect. I do one of these every day. Okay, did you feel you got some positive result? You think this was worth the hour spent here? Okay, I appreciate that because I got to let you know that this guy doesn't get paid 20 grand just because he's a schlub. He gets paid because he has processes that are tried and true and worked. But in that strategy about the car, the kid's strategy was, get a part-time job on a weekend, on a weekend, and the other one was ask my friend's father if he can find something for me at night, 2 nights a week. And so this is how he was going to make money with his strategy. Get my father to, after half the money, have my father loan me the rest, and pay him back so I can get it soon, get his agreement. Kids can get pretty creative with this too. So this is a great thing for relationships, for this whole process is anything about a goal and go through it. So I really appreciate you spending the time with me. Let's go to the next slide. I want to give you 2 things. First of all, here's the summary. State a clear goal. So I'll give you a second to write this down. State today's date and state your completion date. Don't skip those steps. The mind needs a starting point and it needs an ending point. List the results of achieving your goals. List the obstacles. And again, milk that results thing. Milk the obstacle stuff. And then brainstorm strategies. Do them yourself. If you need help, get somebody else. But you're going to wind up realizing that, in fact, what happens is as you're writing the obstacles, the solutions are coming up. So you get very fast at this. Relist your strategies, then brainstorm the strategies, relist the strategies on a strategies completion sheet, and then decide who's responsible in each strategy and set milestones if necessary. Is there a 9th? I don't know if there's a 9th, but yeah, achieve your goal, be a successful disciplined trader. I want to give you the 2 links I want to give you. Then I'll leave by leaving this summary up. We'll go back to that. This is the Disciplined Trader Mastery Kit. It's all described on the site. If you like my style, if you're ready to be a disciplined trader from a disciplined standpoint, I know that Mark is a big proponent of our course, and I appreciate that. The disciplinedtrader.com/MK, which I guess stands for Mastery Kit, mkhome.php. If you forget all that and just go to the disciplinedtrader.com, you'll see a link at the top that says Mastery Kit. You can click that too, and it'll take you to the mkhome.php page. You may even be able to, I don't know if you can click that link. I don't know if it's probably not alive, but go ahead and go to the disciplinedtrader.com and look for Mastery Kit and click that. Let's go to the next slide. Here's my gift. I don't know if anybody, let me ask you one last question. Does anybody see my 4-minute drills? Anybody have experience? I'm on 4-minute drill. I'm recording 4-minute drill number 69 and 70 today. So I've been doing it for like a year and a half. Has anybody actually seen my 4-minute drills? They're on the Disciplined Trader site, or you can go to YouTube and you can Google 4-minute drill for traders. And what you'll see is just 4-minute bite-sized pieces of something that's important to traders and with a solution at the end of each one. What you see here, the disciplinedtrader.com/masteryminute.php, this is something that's even more condensed. It's a 1 minute of whatever wisdom I have left that I've chopped it. I've got about right now. I had 25 minutes of wisdom, and so you get 25 1-minute mastery minutes, and they're just audios that you click on. They're in different, getting over a loss or pulling the trigger or believing you deserve. There's something on just about everything in those 25, and we're creating more right now, but the first 25 are already available. And you just take the first thing that you do in the morning before you start trading, boom, grab a Mastery Minute and listen to it for a minute. You're going to leave that minute feeling motivated and good about yourself. And they're each a little bit different. So go to thedisciplinetrader.com/masteryminute.php and sign up for that. You'll get all 25 in one fell swoop. It's even coming out as a next week. Hopefully, it's been submitted. It takes about 2 weeks. It's going to be an app from Apple, an iPhone app. And if it kicks off the way I think it was, I'll spend the tens of thousands of dollars to put this free app on Android and BlackBerry. But for right now, I kept my spending to about $10,000 to put it on the iPhone. Okay, you got the disciplinetrader.com/masteryminute.php. One slide back, and just for you there, just go to the disciplinetrader.com if that link is too long for you, and click on Mastery Kit. One slide back. And these are, remember the summary of what we talked about today. Do not let this sit on the shelf. Use it. Use it. Create these strategies and make it happen. You'll be very surprised at how much you can get done to the positive to get you at your goal more quickly than you thought. And the truth is that many of the obstacles that you may have set in this grand goal of being a successful trader or making $1,000 a day can be broken down into smaller goals, so that you can start this whole series not with a giant goal, but a smaller goal. Work through those and make it happen for yourself. So a lot of your strategies can become their own what we call strategic circle, and get that done. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, I'm open. So if you see any questions, Mark, read them to me, and I'll blab out an answer.
Definitely, Norm. That was awesome. I think one of the things that I enjoy the most about it is how similar we are in the way that we think. A big thing people know with NetPicks systems is we try to really provide this structure and break everything down and make it kind of crystal clear on the chart. We know we have to work at it. We know effort has to go into it. There's no free ride or free lunch. And it's really interesting to see how you broke all this down to actually a structure and a plan and listing it off, because it's very easy to talk about psychology and plans, sort of this top level up in the clouds. It's a little different to actually sit there and write things down on paper, actually think it through, come up with an action plan and something for you to be able to execute upon it. It's really interesting how similar it is to actually being able to trade successfully with a system, to have that structure and to break it down piece by piece, but also realize you got to work at it. So, and the other thing I'll say for sure, two things really, is definitely get the Mastery Minute. I get it. I don't have to get it, but I get the email every day. I read it. It's well worth your while. So I would say, definitely opt yourself into that. And the other thing I'll say is the Mastery Kit itself. I have one right here. I'm looking at it right now. For those of you who are, interested in really pursuing this further, again, it's an amazing investment that you can make really in yourself. Norm really outdid himself with the quality of this kit. I was actually very surprised when I got it, just how nice it is and how well thought through it is. And again, it's very similar to the way that we go about our trading and our training. So I think you'll immediately kind of connect with it if you've connected with our other stuff as well. So again, I think we've got everything covered at this point. So if you have any closing comments, Norm, by all means. Otherwise, we'll let everybody jump on with the rest of their day and start executing these plans.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And you know how I feel about you and your operation. I mean, I've spoken with your group for several years in a row when you were in Las Vegas, and I asked to do it after the first year I did it, and it wasn't about any money being exchanged. It was about just getting the word out. I think when you reach a certain level of success, there really is an emphasis on helping. When I first saw this process that I gave you, this was the first thing that Dan Sullivan shared with us because of its power. What it does without realizing it, you wonder, how can you spend a whole day on this? He went through how the mind works and how the way this is laid out allows you to move through the process in the normal way that your mind solves problems without any and helping. The process helps you clear the hurdles by definition. The fact that you start with what you are going to achieve in your goal, the good stuff that you'll get by making it happen. You're filling yourself with why this is all worth it, and energizing yourself. Then when you get to the obstacles, which will normally happen when you relook at your goal, the obstacles will come up, but you welcome the obstacles because you know that within each of these obstacles are the raw materials for the solution. Then it's a matter of showing your smarts, not only the fact, and you'll see a lot of your smarts, the answers jump in as just as quickly as the obstacles. Most of the time, you know what to do. You really do. At least half of them. You kind of know when you're listing the obstacles, you know. But the fact that you're writing them down and committing to them and following this process puts you in a forward motion. And then when you list your strategies and talk about who you're going to assign it to, and then list milestones, you continue you're putting the wind at your back. And that's really what makes this thing flow. Okay, won't say anything more about it. Maybe at some future date we can do a follow-up on this as people who do take this to heart and start experiencing it. But this process is a life-changing process, not only for you as a trader, but for you as a person. And really, you really can't separate the two. That's why you have such an appreciation for people and how they, how they feel about themselves from an inner standpoint. But it's hard. You want to separate it from the standpoint of you want to be focused and not let emotions enter your situation when you're a trader. But you, the trader, you, the person, you've got to be strong as a person to be strong as a trader. And so this is a process that can help both ends of who you are. So thanks again, Mark, for the opportunity to address your people, and always a pleasure.
Thank you, Norm. You were awesome. Really appreciate it. And we'll definitely do this again in the near future. Everybody else, appreciate you taking the time with us today. Another really good one. Tons of great education, lots to think about. So let's go get them, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care, everyone.